All right, everybody, we're finally inside the game. Welcome to another day of ECAL North and South American Tournament games. This is group stages once again. Group number 2, Root Gaming, coming off of their big win yesterday, taking out Pot and Bottom, possibly one of the other favored to make it out of that group. And today they're going to be taking on VTI. Interestingly enough, though, Root using 2 ringers. Once again, I am joined by Quantic. Mikey, man, what's up?
Oh, not much. Ready to cast this great game. Kinda disappointed that Root's using 2 stanzas again, but hey, it happens, I guess.
Well, I mean, I was thinking about it, and when Blitz told me that they were using 2 stand-ins, I knew they were going to be using EGM from Infused, and the other ringer is going to be Snoopy from Absolute Legends. Those are the 2 ringers, for anybody who was wondering. Ephraim is not here today. Apparently he has some real-life stuff to attend to. Somebody's birthday and whatnot, so that's definitely understandable. But I felt kind of bad because we really ragged on him the other day for his Tidehunter play, and I felt a little bit responsible at the very least for him not being here. But enough about that. We'll get into the game here. We're going to have Furion, Darkseer, Rubik, and Leshrac banned out already. So the Rubik taken out really fast here by VTI. What do you think about that?
I don't. A lot of teams, like Absolute Legends, for instance, they like to pick or ban that hero. I don't see the hero as that strong. I think you can work around that hero in a competitive game.
Yeah, I think he's really based around like what your team has as well. And maybe something that VTI is picking up here, they just don't want the opportunity to be spell stolen. Now, there's big ultimates. I mean, obviously you have your Ravage, you have things like Black Hole as well that are really, really just game-changing abilities that if they are stolen, they can be very effective. So that could be another reason as well. And as far as the first 4 bans, he went out relatively quick. We're going to see Chen taken out here. So once again, looks like here's like Brewmaster, CK are going to be making it into the pool. And Enchantress still not banned out either, and I would expect VTI to probably take it out at this point. Typically, at least in North and South American Dota, people want to use junglers.
Yeah, definitely. Even in European Dota, like Enchantress is such a favorite hero. And yeah, there goes the ban on it. It's just such a powerful hero.
Well, at least first pick to Root. Most of the time, anybody's on Dire side. That means that Radiant side has first pick. I know there are a couple of people in here who said they've never watched a Dota match before, so I just wanted to clarify for those people who didn't know. And Lycan actually going to be the first pick up here for Root Gaming, followed by a Brood and Enigma immediately from VTI. That is some seriously heavy push power. And with heroes like Sand King Tide still in the pool, I don't know if it was such a great idea to pick the Brood this early, but then again, you can't really give it away to a team like Root who already has a Lycan. I've seen strats like that before where you just rely so much on your ability to split push down lanes that the other team has to commit too much to ganking you, and you end up ultimately just losing the tower war.
Yeah, I like VTI's response to the Lycan first pick. Brood and Enigma are great heroes to go against the Lycan. You can Black Hole him, obviously, and the Brood can just push in the lane because the Lycan can't do anything about it, so...
After seeing those 2 pickups especially, I'm going to imagine that VTI is going to want to get some kind of teamfight potential because typically when you see a Brood picked, especially when it's this early, your only job really is to stay in your lane for pretty much the whole game. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. That's pretty much what Broods play like, and they just rely on the rest of the heroes from your team to try to gauge all over the map in places that you're not at so you can secure those early tower kills. But they're going to go ahead and pick up Queen of Pain as well, so that's one hero they can add to their teamfight potential, as well as an Invoker pickup and a Shadow Demon coming out for Root. And they don't really have a quote-unquote answer for the Brood just yet, and going into the second ban phase, VTI can definitely ban them out here. They've left their lanes relatively open. I mean, Invoker's probably going to be mid. I've seen long lane Lycans before. I've seen safe lane. I've seen jungle. I've pretty much seen every iteration of Lycan that you can possibly run, and he's always pretty much dangerous no matter where you put him, and that means that Shadow Demon is likely going to be relegated to support, and Root actually takes away Tidehunter, so banning a hero that could potentially counter Brood for VTI.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about the Tidehunter ban, just because Tidehunter can cancel the Black Hole before the BKB, and he's a good Brood stopper. It's just it's an odd ban from Root Gaming. I feel like they wanted that hero.
Well, maybe they were thinking that they just didn't want to have to worry about having a Tide who could engage in a 4v5, because he's the kind of hero where even if you're outnumbered, you can still at the very least get away even, you know, not lose too many heroes because of the Ravage, get some other teammates out of the fight, and he can kind of prolong it so the Brood can push other lanes. So maybe that's why they decided to ban him out, but at the same time, they were going to have the first pick out of the second ban phase, so they would have been able to pick him up at the very least. Maybe that's just not their strategy for this game or what, but CK, also not going to be seen played this game, and he's fallen off just a little bit. I think teams are kind of getting back into their stride where they want to just split push or just straight up push you down and then rely on having a couple of heroes that are pretty good at skirmishing. Not necessarily engage in full 5-on-5 team fights, but just try to get hero kills when you can and get towers out of it.
Yeah, definitely. People thought CK was going to be some huge pick ban hero, and it fell into like just the basic hero pool of picks and bans. It's not first pick or first ban like people thought it would be because of watching Chinese Dota. So that slightly surprised me, but I guess in this push meta game, it was expected to happen.
Well, right now, just waiting on the last two bans out. Root is currently ball in their court. Going to see what they're going to take out here. And after seeing the Invoker pickup, I mean, they still probably need at least one extra support, and I'm just not really sure yet where they're going to put this Lycan. I mean, Invoker is pretty much always seen middle. Sometimes he goes to the safe lane, and they're going to ban out Sand King as well. So it's actually pretty ironic that looking at the bans, you see the Brood on VTI, and you're like, okay, why does Root have all three of the hard counters to Brood banned out? But maybe they're just not scared of it. Maybe they're just going for something that they feel is going to compensate for the Brood in its own right, and they don't really have to worry about it. However, Brewmaster also not going to be seeing this game at all. It's going to be the last ban out, so just waiting on two more heroes from each team before we get into the game. Once again, I want to thank you guys very much for joining us. Also want to thank out Machinima for sponsoring this tournament. Obviously can't have prize pools without sponsors, so big thanks to them. And thanks to you guys for joining Mikey and myself for today's cast. Root Gaming taking on VTI. And after all the bans are done, what do you think Root's going to be going for here?
You know, I'm slightly confused because they banned out the counters to the Broodmother, right? So what are they going to actually do against it?
Well, they do pick up a Windrunner here, and that's not really a hard counter per se, but it does okay. I mean, typically the Brood's probably going to win that lane in just a 1v1. Even if, say, the Windrunner is in her safe lane and the Brood's in his long lane, I still feel like Brood's going to come out ahead there. But at the very least, she's probably not going to get towered over anything crazy like that. The last time I saw a Brood versus a Windrunner was a game with Quantic, I think you guys actually, and Josh was playing in his safe lane against a Brood, and he just couldn't do anything, really. I mean, the power shot spam can do some to the Spiderlings, but not that much, you know?
Oh, I completely agree with you. When you are up against a Broodmother, you need to dedicate one single hero to that Broodmother the entire game. Like, it has to be a sinking, it has to be a tide, it has to be something that can survive while stopping his push. Windrunner can do that to a degree, but the Windrunner can be pushed out of the lane, so it's just not enough.
Well, at this point, one more hero from each team. Beastmaster taken up here by VTI. I actually like that pick quite a bit. It probably means we're going to be seeing, at the very least, I think, a safe lane Brood. Maybe they're just going to rely on him to get a massive amount of farm and try to push down top. But Beastmaster can still do the ancient stacking. We've seen that, I don't know, dozens of times ever since the first time I've ever seen it, which I think was Mao's. I don't know who actually did it first, but that was the first time I had particularly seen that strategy. So we could be seeing that. Beastmaster also great for any split push lineup because he essentially gives you map hack. I mean, the Hawk just has such ridiculous vision of the map that you can split so effectively and not ever really have to worry about getting picked off. And with heroes like Windrunner, Shadow Demon, and Invoker, who's likely going to be going Exort, I typically don't see Quaswex Invokers anymore, especially paired with a Shadow Demon, because the Soul Catcher Sunstrike combo is very, very powerful. And I even would go as far as to say Root might be looking for something like an AA here, just for like a pick-off strategy to try to keep the Brood out of the lane for as long as they can.
Yeah, they could go with something like a pick-off strategy. However, I disagree with the Beastmaster pick, and here's why I disagree with the Beastmaster pick. Roar is basically negated completely because of Disrupt. So that spell is completely useless in team fights. The only thing that Beastmaster gives them is the split-pushing power that Broodmother and Enigma also give them.
Yeah, that's definitely very true. I mean, we've talked about it all the time. Shadow Demon's just an amazing support at this stage in the game. Any hard stuns, and this is funny too because most teams don't pick a whole lot of them. I mean, you have Enigma with Malefice, and then you have Beastmaster with his Roar, and that's it. If you disrupt one of those abilities, you've essentially taken out half the stuns of VTI's lineup. So I really totally agree with you right there. And Storm Spirit, going to be the last pick out from Root here, so we're going to see a Blitz Storm Spirit. I have absolutely zero doubt in my mind. I'm not sure who's going to be playing Invoker, maybe EGM or Korea at this particular stage, but their lineup looks a little bit strange to me, I'm not going to lie. They have three heroes who need a lot of farm, in my opinion, to be that effective, and they have the Invoker, Storm Spirit, obviously, who was just last picked, and the Lycan as well. So these picks are really just as strange as I would say VTI's are.
Yeah, they have a three-core strategy with heroes that need way too much farm, in my opinion. The winner is going to be Ernest as a support, obviously, but I mean that's fine. It's just Storm and Invoker and Lycan, they all need like tremendous amounts of farm, and I don't know how they're going to get all that farm to their heroes before they get pushed in.
Well, Crystal Maiden going to round out the last picks here for VTI, so we're going to get the game started here in just a couple of seconds, guys. Once again, Root taking on VTI Gaming. Casting today is myself, Draskyl, and of course Quantic. Mikey, thanks again for being here, man. Just waiting to see what everybody's going to pick before the game gets underway, and I'm not going to forget my overlay today. Gosh darn it, I'm actually going to change it right now. There we go, just so we don't have any horrible events that happened the other day. So Really quickly, just going over the players for Root. We're going to have Blitz once again taking up the reins on Storm Spirit. DDX, who played a phenomenal Shadow Demon the other day, once again going to be playing him today for us. Korea playing on the Invoker. Stand-in Digimon, who is Absolute Legend Snoopy, going to be playing a Windrunner, and that means that Lycan is going to be played by EGM. You want to do the other team?
Sure, man. Okay, we have China Sua Delicia. I don't know how to say his name. So we have the pink player on the Enigma. Then we have VTI Corsair Bogus on the Beastmaster. King RD on the Broodmother. Booga Jim on the Queen of Pain. Corsair Fail Logic on the Crystal Maiden.
Very well done. Now you can see why I made you do that and I didn't actually do it myself. It's all part of my plan.
Okay with that. It's no problem.
Mikey Dota, ladies and gentlemen. So, a couple of heroes down here from VTI, throwing down a web to get him some vision here. Not really sure what they're going to choose to do with lanes, and seeing the Enigma down here so far, I mean, I really don't think he's going to be staying here. Maybe just looking to try to deny or something like that. Or at the very least, spot out what kind of lanes are going to be going against. So this means that the Windrunner is going to be going up against a Queen of Pain from VTI, and I think the VTI is going to be pretty happy with that. Queen of Pain does very, very well, especially in a safe lane, because Shadow Strike is just too much harassment damage to really deal with, and it's not too difficult to dodge power shots in the lane as long as you're playing at your maximum potential. And I love the spot that VTI is sitting in here right now. They're like, we're being really sneaky, we're going to catch somebody.
It would have worked if anybody actually came, maybe, but who knows?
Yeah.
We'll never know now.
Most teams pretty much just completely avoid walking into their safe lane at this point, because so often we see teams who do that. They just try to scout it out, see if they can spot out the lanes, and try to get themselves some kind of an advantage in the early phase. But we're going to see an actual jungle Lycan for once. This is something that we haven't seen too much. Typically they do lane it, but once again it is going to be played by EGM. Two heroes currently kind of roaming around here, the Enigma and the Crystal Maiden, making their way through the jungle at this point. Blitz bottom lane going up against a solo Beastmaster at the moment, which I got to give the advantage to Storm, but at the same time, Beastmaster is not going to necessarily be struggling here either.
Oh yeah, definitely. As long as it's Storm versus Beastmaster, the Beastmaster is going to at least get levels, and that's what he wants in the long lane. So, and this is what I like from the Dire. They're stopping the Lycan. If you stop the Lycan at level 1 and he doesn't have wolves to summon again, his jungle is completely shot at that point.
Yeah, the Enigma's actually sitting on the high ground, use conversions on the Satyr camp right here, but EGM looks like he should be able to get at least one creep, and getting level 2 at this point is actually going to be a very big deal for him if he does manage to pick it off. Going to use the other wolf to scout out over to the high ground, but VTI is actually currently making their way back towards the lane, and I totally agree, man. If you can shut that Lycan down in the early game, it's just so nice to not have to worry about him. And at the same time, this is something we haven't really talked about too much, is a Brood going up mid against an Invoker. And I actually think that's a pretty smart choice, because more often than not, you think of Brood as a hero who can't really lose their lane necessarily. But in the same light, you also think of the Invoker like that as well. It's like, okay, well, we have to dual lane against them if we're going to have any success. And DTI says, you know what? We're just going to send a really strong laner against another really strong laner.
Yeah, and the Invoker went fire, like you predicted, so... I mean, the Brood is pretty much free to do whatever he wants in the lane. He can't really be contested, but there's the Shadow Demon with a Sentry, so should be able to push him back some until he gets levels on his Firelings.
Yeah, he already has gotten up to level 3. By the way, guys, it is storming pretty bad here, so if you guys hear the rain in the background, I really can't do anything about that. So sorry if it's too loud, but I'll do my best to try to muffle the sound. But currently, not really too much going on, only about 2 minutes into the game. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the gold graph to see what kind of stuff's going down. 300 gold in favor of VTI and 500 experience. So they're actually getting a pretty good lead out of their lane so far. And I think a lot of that, like you said earlier, is attributed to the fact that we are going to be having that Lycan pretty much harassed in the jungle. And did you crash, or did you just leave the game?
My Dota crashed. I'll be back in a second.
Okay, I'm just making sure like you didn't disconnect. Just making sure you're still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Alrighty, Beastmaster level 3. He is going to choose to level up his Hawk. We're going to see what skill build he's actually going to go first, though. He's currently sitting on that level 3, waiting to distribute a skill point at this current stage. 6-1 right now for the Storm Spirit, and 10-7 actually for the Beastmaster. So Bogus playing that Beastmaster, doing a very, very good job so far, and this is not the kind of start that the Storm Spirit's going to want in this game. Storm Spirit, obviously one of those heroes who is extremely momentum-based. You want to make sure that you can get as much farm as you can during the early game to ensure that you can just roll in and try to get kills. And DDX is going to spot out the Enigma right here. Is there going to be any reaction? There is a disruption. Where is the rest of VTI? He is taking quite a bit of damage from those illusions. Actually, an illusion rune and the illusions themselves from the disruption. But looks like Enigma is going to be able to get away scotch-free. And this top lane, Queen of Pain sitting at 16-4 comparative to the 10-1 of Snoopy right here playing the Windrunner. So Queen of Pain definitely doing a great job, and he's actually a stand-in as well. Not really sure what team he's from, but he's doing a very good job. And wow, middle lane. King RD just doesn't even care, man. He's level 5 right now, has level 3 Spiderlings, already has up his Soul Ring. That is a start that is going to be really, really hard to overcome, especially for a Fire Invoker. Like, he can't really do anything to counter-push this Brood. This is actually brilliant laning by VTI, I think.
All he can really do, the Invoker, is drop a Meteor. And if the Brood micros correctly, the Meteor is going to do actually absolutely nothing. So, what I also don't understand is the Invoker started with a Gloves of Haste. So, is he, like, rushing a Midas or something? I have no idea.
Yeah, that is definitely a bit strange. We're going to see a Soul Ring popped once again here. Not actually choosing to do harassment damage to Korea. Instead, he's just going to go ahead and keep spawning those Spiderlings. And I really like that choice. Again, like he said, Invoker can't do anything to this, so why not just keep spawning the Spiderlings, try to get a quick mid-tier tower. And that's something that we very rarely see ever since we stopped seeing the heroes like Rasta going mid, because that's most often when you would see that. And oh, EGN needs to be careful getting attacked by these Spiderlings here a bit. Gonna have to make his way back to the jungle, do a little bit of juking to get away from that. And we can see two heroes from VTI kind of roaming in from the side. Enigma with a double damage and a Crystal Maiden here in the back. This is actually really poor positioning from Root.
Is Lycan going to die to these Spiderlings? He's getting so low.
He's getting chased into the base right now. He's taking quite a bit of damage. He actually almost did fall right there, but it looks like the Enigma, Brood, and Crystal Maiden combo not going to be enough to take off Korea or DDX here. So definitely good that they didn't choose to die right there. But I just don't know, man. Like, the laning phase right now for VTI is looking really strong. They're just pulling ahead in every single aspect. Gold about 1,000 now in their favor. And still around 500 to 700 experience.
Like, even if you look at the bottom lane right now, like, even Blitz is struggling against the Beastmaster. And generally, you'd think a Storm on his short lane would out CS a Beastmaster. But it's just not happening right now. VTI is just playing really well.
I think it might be a little bit of a mistake in this situation to max Vortex, because you kind of need the extra damage. And hold on, we're going to have a disruption going off onto Enigma. This could be our potential first blood, but here comes Crystal Maiden in the back. Conversion's doing quite a bit of damage. DDX Sunstrike is going to come down, and the first blood ends up going to the Invoker, or the Storm Spirit, I'm sorry. And now Enigma also gets a kill on DDX as well. Now Blitz trying to make his way into the jungle right there. Currently a 1-for-1. Is Blitz going to be able to make it out of here alive? I really don't think so. TP coming in once again from DDX, but he hits 6! And it doesn't work though. The boar snipe. And now the tower is currently auto-attacking down. There's Crystal Maiden, 2 HP. Barely manages to get away, and the boar is dead. Now DDX trying to get away from Bogus at the moment, and he's going to actually be able to TP out of here. Crystal Maiden is not going to drop. Getting out of there with no health whatsoever, and Bogus is not done here yet. Here comes Enigma from the back. The Wolves currently attacking him from Lycan. DDX actually gets roared as well, and he's not going to have a chance of making it out of there. 1-3 right now in favor of VTI. And I can't believe that Blitz actually got that first blood. I mean, I thought that DDX was going to die way before that.
Yeah, really great play. It was a nice first blood, but just VTI just kept their composure. They went for the dive. They picked off the Storm. The Shadow Demon came back. They picked him off. A little bit waste of a Roar. They could have used it on the Storm again, but that's fine. They got the kills. They got what they wanted.
Well, Roar is not really a tremendous cooldown anyway, and if they're not going to be looking to apply any more pressure for the next couple of minutes, I think it's fine, honestly, yeah. So,
yeah, I'm just basically nitpicking since they stacked the Sons of it, but yeah, it's fine. It'll be off cooldown.
Well, middle lane, Broodmother has had pretty much time to free farm at this point. Level 7. Does have that Soul Ring still. 1,200 gold on top of that. And Blitz has actually made his way to the middle lane where he's already quite low on HP, taking that harassment damage. And there are just 3 to 4 people from Root sitting mid. And this is really not the kind of efficiency that they're going to be looking for. By the way, Korea did opt to go hand to Midas. I don't really think this is a great option when you're playing a Fire Invoker against a heavy push team.
Yeah, I disagree with his skill build. I disagree with his item build. He needs to go Quas Wex. He needs NATO. He needs EMP. He needs Phase Boost. He needs Drum. He needs maybe a 4-staff. He needs to be able to stop these pushes. He is their push stop along with the Windrunner at this point. And he's what push is he going to stop with the build he's going right now?
I don't know. Maybe they thought that they could somehow pick people off before there was ever really a big push to worry about. But that doesn't seem to be the case, as Korea's going to be the one in trouble. No points into Wex. There is no way he can use anything to get away from this. Korea going to get roared down. Frostbitten in place. And Bogus picks up the kill with those axes. Courier's sending somebody something. I'm not probably sure it was wards at this point. Or boots. Soul Ring also picked up on the Enigma with those boots and a set of wards. Crystal Maiden even has boots herself. 0-0-3. 1-4 right now in favor of VTI. Could be 5. DDX getting caught out by a bunch of Broodlings. He does get the disruption off onto himself. Blitz trying to do what he can. Throws out the Remnant. But wow, DDX just absolutely melts to the damage from the conversions and the Spiderlings as well. There was nothing he could do about that. And Storm couldn't help him pretty much at all either. And this top lane the whole time, Queen of Pain sitting on 46 CS and 11 denies. She is doing amazing compared to the 22 and 3 of the Windrunner. So pretty much every lane right now is just losing for Root. This is not a good sign.
Yeah, it's definitely going well for VTI, but you have to think, a few days ago we saw VTI play another Brazilian team in Isurus, I think their name is, and they completely dominated the first 15 minutes, and then they blew the game. So Root can still win this. I have faith that Root can come back. It's just looking really good
on the bogus. But no one's really there to follow up. That was a bit unfortunate. No, I think that any game you can come back from, don't get me wrong, but typically when you open the gold graph at 9 minutes and it's over 5,000 gold already and 3,000 experience, that's a really big lead really fast. I mean, you could expect to see, 1,000, 1,500, but over 5K, I mean, that's really, really big.
Yeah, that's huge. I agree.
Well, right now, Brood's still sitting on 2,400 gold. Not sure if he's going to opt to go for the Aoi 2000 build, as some people have aptly named it, going for just the Manta instead of getting the BKB. I think it would honestly be fine in this case if they really wanted to. And wow, looks like VTI gets another tower with no contention whatsoever out of Root Gaming. So that is what, their third tower kill of the game. Not a single tower of their own has fallen at this point. Every lane just feels so pressured. Like they can't really ever go anywhere aside from sitting on their side of the map. They can't execute their gang strategy the way they want to at this point. Even with Blitz having level 6, I mean, look at that. One Spider Nuke takes him down to about 20%. I mean, he wasn't at full, granted, but even still, he's having a really rough time this game. The lanes didn't quite work out the way they wanted to, and this has got to be VTI's game to lose.
Yeah. VTI's doing everything right, and the Beastmaster even has a mech. The CM's going for an urn. Like, they're going to keep getting early game items. They're going to keep the pressure up, and I don't know. I don't know if Root's going to be able to stop it. The Lycan has to get fat really fast, basically, and it just doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Yeah, EGM is actually at 49 CS, so he's not doing terribly. He's managed to get up his Vlads before 10 minutes, which is definitely good. Ooh, actually killing the top lane. I just barely missed that. Looks like a Sunstrike combination with the Storm Spirit, and the Windrunner managed to pick off Enigma, so that's definitely good for them. Bogus has an Invis popped up right here. Oh, he's looking for EGM. He's going to find him. Are they going to have the backup they need to take him out? That's the question. He doesn't even have mana to ult. This is really bad. And Blink out of the high ground with the roar, and there's the Sonic Wave to seal the deal. Queen of Pain picks off EGM, and that is the one hero who, in this case, absolutely cannot die. I mean, he really, like he said, needs to be able to get those items up, needs something to try to counter push. And really, at this point, VTI has just been in their face the whole game.
Feels like they're going to go for a Rosh right now, just because they got that Lycan kill.
Well, they got the Lycan, and not only that, but they have all the Tier 1 towers dead. I mean, it's going to take Root a significant amount of time to react to this. The Brood can pretty much just sit in a lane and prevent 2 or 3 heroes from even getting to the Rosh pit. So I really think that there's no way whatsoever that Root is going to be able to contend with this Roshan attempt. They're killing it pretty slow, though. Although I really don't think they're going to have to back it all. They're probably just going to take a while to kill it. And they're probably going to be giving the Aegis to the Queen of Pain, I would imagine, at this point. And yeah, Brood's still just kind of sitting mid. Being very annoying. Can't really kill him. Do we have any dust up here? There is a sentry put down, so they can jump on him if need be. But this is pretty much their plan. Just use the Brood to distract, basically, and take Rosh.
Really like how VTI does this in their games. They pick the Broodmother and then they just use him as the biggest distraction in the world while everybody else just does their own thing. Like, teams don't do this enough with the hero.
Well, now we're going to see Queen of Pain with an Aegis on top of her already pretty substantial farm. Has an ultimate orb 61 and 11, doing very, very good at just a 12-minute mark. DDX is going to get spotted out here by some members of VTI, but VTI choosing actually not to go in. No Tier 2s have fallen yet, so that's something that they have to look forward to. I mean, basically, if they haven't lost Tier 2s yet, it's not insurmountable, but it's still a pretty big deficit to overcome at this point. Still getting to about 7,500 gold lead and 3,000 experience still. So the experience, at the very least, isn't getting any farther out of reach. It's really just going to come down to teams who get like items like Mech and Pipe up first, who are going to probably end up taking the game, because those are the huge team fight items that having this early on is so tough to deal with.
Yeah, completely agree. If they get a Pipe up and they start going for Tier 2s or base towers, we're just going to be in some serious trouble because they will not be able to stop that.
A Beastmaster, interestingly enough, already has a mech. He went for mana boots too. I actually like this build quite a bit because of the fact that he's basically just like a walking fountain at this point. And anytime you can stay on the opponent's side of the map and continue to apply pressure, that means that they're not going to be getting as much farm as they would be normally. And not to mention, Beastmaster's base mana pool in itself is pretty low due to the fact that he is a strength hero, but has those mana boots and the mech to offset that, so I really like that choice. He might just go ahead and get the pipe himself. I mean, the Crystal Maiden doesn't really have anything, which isn't surprising to say the least, but is going to pick up an urn eventually. And DTI just looking really strong at this point in the game.
Yeah, I'd like to see them continue with the pressure. They have the Aegis, they have the level advantage, they have the gold advantage. They should try to pressure these tier 2s and get them down. Just keep Root on the back foot.
Korea's taking some harassment damage here from Enigma. Still no point in Wex. I don't know if that's really the best choice. I mean, he's already died once because of that. I mean, I think having at least one, it does kind of slow down your forward spirits, doesn't make him as powerful as they would normally be. As middle lane is actually also being pressured, but oh wow, speaking of pressure, Windrunner going to get picked off by the Nova Scream and Wave combination of Crystal Maiden and Queen of Pain. Going to see a disruption go off onto Bogus down here, the Beastmaster. They're going to kind of loop their way back around to middle lane, see if they can kill this tier 2. Bottom lane looks like Enigma was eventually chased off, but when a Storm and an Invoker can't even kill your Enigma, I mean, you're feeling pretty confident in that particular game.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even think they tried to go on him. That's how scared they are.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, Lycan's just sitting in the opponent's jungle. He's doing the right thing, in my opinion, because if they're sitting on your side of the map and you know you can't defend, then why try to just sit there and not really do anything, you know? So I really like his idea to move to the other side of the map, try to get his farm in. He does have his medallion up as well. Orchid just finished on the Broodmother. But, I mean, EGM's farm, it's not bad. It's just not insane like the Broodmother's farm, you know? It's just so much tower that, or so much gold that he didn't get from towers that VTI has at this point, and the Roshan to boot.
You also have to think, some of those creeps he has 73 CS, which is good for the time into the game, but those are neutral creeps. Some of them give a lot less than regular creeps would.
Yeah, it's definitely a good point. Second tier tower bottom being pressured here by VTI once again. Been the aggressors pretty much the entire game, and I believe that Blitz is actually going for an Orchid. Ooh, nice shackle onto the Brood and the CM. I don't think it's going to matter, though. Actually, Windrunner gets roared into place, and there's a disruption to try to save his teammate. A little bit late, though. He's going to get cold snap. Bogus retreating from the tower. Beastmaster taking quite a bit of damage. Sunstrike is going to hit him. Here comes Storming from the back. There's a pull, and they're going to get the kill, but Orchid onto Blitz. Nice turnaround kill. Currently a 1-for-1. Bogus sitting at basically no HP. EGM trying to figure out who he wants to go on. Going to go back in on the CM. Queen of Pain blinks in, throws out the screen. There's another Nova going off, and the medallion is popped on the CM. Is he actually not going to get it? Oh, another great shackle from Snoopy. And now Bogus and CM are in a huge amount of trouble right here. Bogus will eventually go down. EGM quite low on health himself, and Brood is so low right now. He does eventually drop as Shadow Demon follows suit. And now Queen of Pain trying to get out of this team fight. Still does have that Aegis, even if she goes down. Will she get the Scream off? No, not in time. Actually, didn't even have mana. Gonna respawn here in just a second. Gonna be looking for EGM to try to pick up that kill. 1 second on the blink. In the middle of the day, in the middle of the lane. There is no way you're gonna be able to escape from that. And Root actually played that quite well. However, they didn't have the Enigma, who might actually be getting picked off in this top lane. Yeah, that's gonna be a kill for Root Gaming. Blitz and Invoker with the follow-up of the Sunstrike after the Lightning Ball and the pull as well. Really well done by Root Gaming.
Look at the BM buyback by the Enigma. He don't even care.
He does not care, man. Like, he actually doesn't have that much in terms of farm. I mean, he's 2-3-2, and he's only 65 CS, so I don't even know if he can afford that. I think that's a little bit cocky.
And you see he's drawing on the map. Maybe he just wants to go 5-man bottom. He's like, whatever. I'm going to hold these guys now.
Yeah, they didn't have the Enigma for that, so it was a 4v5, but still, I think Root at this point is going to take what they can get. They did manage to pick off the Aegis and the Queen of Pain. They ended up losing EGM, though, which definitely hurt them, and they lost the support, I believe, as well. But Korea and Blitz both lived through the fight, which allowed them to get that extra kill on the Enigma top, who just bought back. We are going to have a pause, though, so I want to thank you guys again for joining us. My name is Draskyl, joined by Quantic Mikey, giving me his analysis and co-commentary, like the awesome friend that he is. And hopefully you don't miss your movie because of me. I think he'll actually be leaving probably after next game, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe. Depends on how fast they go.
Yeah, this game's actually been pretty fast-paced, 6-10 right now in favor of VTI, only 16 minutes in. Go ahead and take a look at the gold graph. Yep, about 10,000 in favor of VTI at this stage. And 5,000 experience, so VTI is still in a pretty commanding position here. They did once again, though, lose their Aegis, so that's going to be good for Root at the very least. They just need to try to do what they did right there. Pick fights that are favorable for them, and wait for the split push to really kind of hurt itself, because there's a lot of times, because of the fact that they're going to be playing against a Storm, where VTI is going to feel safe because of where they are, but they're not really safe because of the initiation range that Root Gaming's team has. So I think that that's something they're going to have to try to do as the game goes on to keep themselves in it.
Definitely.
Well, apparently somebody said they were ready, but the game is not unpaused. As of yet, looks like Bogus needs another second. No problem, man. Want to give another quick shout out to Machinima for sponsoring the tournament. This is ECAL's $3,000 North and South American Tournament Group 2. Going to decide, I think this game is very, very important for Root as well, because if they can solidify this win, then they're going to be in a really commanding spot to make it into the playoff games because 2 teams from each group do make it out, and they already won against probably the most favored team in the bracket entirely, which was Pot and Bottom the other day. If you guys didn't catch that, you can find the VOD below the video and check it out there. But game is going to finally resume, so we're going to see if VTI has what it takes to go ahead and get the momentum they need to kill these last outer tier towers and eventually crack the base. Queen of Pain farming away in the bottom lane. And now if you're in Root shoes, do you wait to try to fight at your base, or do you try to defend your tier 2s?
I feel like they should try to at least defend the tier 2s. They have what it takes to defend. It's just they need 5 heroes there, and they need to play it safe, obviously. Like, play passively, spam your Windowner spells, spam your Invoker spells. You have Shadow Poison. That's about all you can do. Just try to stall. But Lycan farm off by himself or split push another lane.
Well, looks like they are trying to do the split push thing. Lycan is currently sitting mid. This tier 2 is actually not going to fall here. VTI choosing to fall back. We're going to have a CMTP mid. It looks like they do not want to lose any towers, as they currently still have all of their tier 1s still standing at this point. 17 minutes into the game. Queen of Pain is going to have her Hex very, very soon if she doesn't already have the money for it. I believe she does, though. Yeah, I think she actually has just enough. And we're going to see Blitz go ahead and Ball Lightning down here for that regeneration rune. Once again, he is making his way towards that Orchid. Has 2 Robes of the Magi. I can only imagine that's the reason he would be getting those. Oh, they might go on the Queen of Pain here. This could be a big pickup if they can manage to get it. Ult is already popped by EGM. He was waiting for the blink. Here he goes. He goes right, and the medallion is popped. Where's the pull? Sunstrike is going to pull him right back into it. Perfect timing. And they managed to pick off the Queen of Pain. Those are the kind of kills that Root needs to be getting, and that's exactly what I was saying, man. Like, you think you're safe, but you're really not because of the storm.
Yeah, man, and the Queen of Pain, going on
bottom lane. Korea gets roared. There's a nice disruption by DDX, though might have to pay with his life. The Soul Catcher is on the Brood, but just so much healing from the Insatiable Hunger. And now Korea gets Orchid as well in place, throws out the dust, but it was just a panic maneuver right there, as there is just not enough damage to take out that Brood, and they get the tier 2. So right as I say Root's doing something good, they end up losing a couple of heroes. They might end up being able to trade the tier 1 for the tier 2, as they will. EGM up here with his tremendous amount of right-click damage is going to be able to get the tower. He does indeed pick up the kill, so that's good at the very least, but now bottom lane just being heavily pressured right here, and they threw up a ward really early. That's just overconfidence. If this tower doesn't die, that ward's going down too, but wow, look at how fast it's dropping. The tier 3 just dies completely. I think the glyph might have been a bit misused there by Root.
Yeah, definitely. And Root picked off the Queen of Pain to stop the Sheepstick purchase, but they're paying for it heavily. Like, they're on the verge of losing racks here.
Yeah, melee rack's taking a lot of damage. You can see the spam going off. They're doing what they can to try to get rid of it, but just so many minions. And wow, Blitz goes in right onto the Enigma. They want to take him out before he can do anything, but there's a black hole right on top of Root, and it gets 2 heroes. Looks like they only managed to pick off 1, though, as Enigma also pays with his life because of the power shot. Now in the back of the base, Brood picking off DDX, and it looks like... Wait, who the heck else just died right there? Okay, Invoker. I was like, wait a minute, I don't think Queen of Pain just died. Now Queen of Pain blinking back into the base, right into EGM. Might get Jackal Tree here. He will. He's actually going to drop, but the melee racks drops as well. Now Broodmother, Beastmaster, and CM all trying to get out of the base. Sunstrike is not going to hit. Just barely off the mark, waiting for the Ice Imprisonment. He will get it off. If there's no TP on this Crystal Maiden, not going to be able to get out of here. In the meantime, in the base, looks like Windrunner does drop to Brood. Medallion popped right here onto the CM, and there is really nothing that a CM can do against an ulted Lycan with that much damage at this stage in the game. And that's a triple kill for Lycan. I mean, they lost their racks, but EGM is getting some kills. He's getting his farm up a little bit. The only problem is now you're against a Brood and an Enigma, who are 2 very well-known heavy push heroes, and you're a racks down.
Yeah, really, I mean, Lycan had to fight back for that, but at least he made his gold back and then some with the triple kill. So we'll just have to see what he can do with it.
Looks like Queen of Pain did eventually die, though, so I was right. I was like, I don't know if I saw that correctly, but Queen of Pain did end up falling. I guess my eyes were deceiving me right there. Lycan actually going for Necronomicon. He's going for the full push. He just wants to make sure that he can make VTI pay for whenever they're trying to split push him down. He can try to take a tower, something like that. It's also great against heroes like Queen of Pain, who rely so heavily on their mana, but then again, Queen of Pain has like 1,400 mana. I don't think a book's going to be that threatening to just completely burning all her mana and preventing her mobility.
Yeah, I don't think the book is going to do anything to the Queen of Pain. It might be able to do something to the Enigma, or it'll spot out the Brood, but other than that, it's slightly useless. They're not on an offensive where they can be split pushing them. They're going to be basically on their side of the map for a while until they can gain some kind of an advantage. So I feel like maybe a BKB or a Heart or just any other item might be better in this situation, but who knows? I respect his decision. We'll just have to see how it works.
Yeah, at this point, Root did finally get their first tower. They got that top tier 1. BKB picked up on Brood as well. Took a peek at the gold graph a second ago. 12,000 right now in favor of VTI, and still only about 3,000, 4,000 experience. So the experience is very tight. And I gotta say, that's pretty much the only thing keeping Root in this game, is the fact that they're not severely underleveled. And a lot of that's due to the fact that they've done really good in team fights. It's just they gave away so much momentum early that it becomes very, very difficult to fight with that big of a gold disadvantage. Korea's still in the bottom lane, farming away. He has his 4 staff up and a point booster on top of his Midas. And the Midas is going to help him as the game goes on, but he's just not really been that presence that you typically see invokers are at this point. I mean, he has 1 item, and it's 22 minutes into the game. I mean, he had a pretty decent start. He was able to get some CS up. He's 93 and 14 at 22 minutes. But again, like, the Midas really hasn't paid for itself yet. They have to turtle for a pretty long time for that item to really reach its full potential.
Oh, Root spots out them trying to Roche. I don't know if VTI is actually going to go for it or not, but Root does know that they're attempting it at least.
And Brood has made his way over here as well. Could be seeing potentially one of the last fights of the game here. Root does look like they kind of want to contest this. Blitz is level 12 at the moment, so he does have that level 2 lightning ball if he wants to initiate. And we're going to see a smoke up. Can they manage to pick off? Oh, if they get Enigma, this could be really bad. He's completely out of position, separated from his team, but they're actually not going to go on him. Going to see a power shot to do some scouting. They're in the pit. Roshan's about half HP. The Shackle does not latch anything. BKB popped by the Brood. They're going to jump right in the Enigma. There we go. Is he going to get the black hole off? No, he's not. Just dies straight away. Orchid popped on the Invoker. Going to be forced out of the fight. Finally does wear off. Now Crystal Maiden in some trouble. There's a nice Screaming Wave coming out, but currently at 2 for 1. Oh. And there's a black hole that manages to currently at 2. Nice Shackle, though, stops it in place. Korea now going to drop to pretty much the entirety of VTI, and no one from VTI died. Actually, I think there might have been a buyback, and now Windrunner not going to make it out either. Orchid is popped. Shadow Strike on top of that, and Crystal Maiden seals the kill with a Nova. Now EGM taking the damage as well from the right clicks and the medallion, and that's going to be the entirety of Root Gaming going down right there. I should say 3 of Root Gaming and 2 ringers, but really, really well done by VTI. Got to hand it to Root. They tried to do what they could. They picked off the Enigma, but he just fought back.
Yeah, the Enigma died at the start, didn't get hole off. He bought back, he got the hole off, it got cancelled, it still did not matter. The farm advantage, the level advantage for VTI is just too huge right now. It was a good effort by Root, though.
Ended up being, I think, a 1 for 5 that was, including the buyback. So VTI still looking really strong, and I got to even go as far as to say we could be seeing the GGs come out relatively soon.
You would honestly think they would have GG'd at the Roche when they got wiped completely and lost the Roche, but never say die, Root Gaming.
Never say die, man. Ever. Even when you're 15,000 gold behind and 10,000 experience behind. But I do have to give them a shout out because they put on a pretty good show. They tried to stay in the game. You know, they didn't just give up. I definitely respect that. I think it's something that a lot of teams could learn from, too. And it's unfortunate that Root doesn't really have a full roster. I mean, they do have great ringers, don't get me wrong. I know both of those players, and they're very, very strong. But you don't really have the same level of coordination and communication that you typically would if you had been practicing with a full team for a specific amount of time. And I'm not sure if VTI has more than 1 ringer. I think they're only using 1. But VTI still looking really strong, still looking like they're going to take this first game of the day. This is ECAL's North and South American Tournament, $3,000 prize pool, Group 2. Looks like Root might get their first loss of the tournament to VTI at this point, which has definitely been unfortunate, as I'm sure many people in the chat are good friends with Blitz, as am I. He's an awesome guy, giving me his stream viewers and such. So a special shout out to him, and shout out to you, Mikey, again for being here, man.
No problem, dude. Glad to be here, glad to help out.
See, why can't all NEODota be like this? Just we're friends, we're casting some games, we're watching Dota. This is what it should be about, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. This is Dota. Just chilling, watching it, commentating it.
I'm definitely a fan. Just waiting to see what VTI is going to go ahead and do here with their extra Aegis. They have it on the Queen of Pain once again. Has an Ogre Club here. Probably going to be going for an Ag. She could buy a BKB, but in all honesty, with that Reincarnate, she's probably not going to need it. Ooh, top lane. Blitz needs to be careful. They do have a Hex. He's going to blink past. Oh, wow. That actually almost completely disjointed the Hex, but yeah, not anymore. And that's going to be a quick Scream and Wave combination to burst him down. And the XD faces. There's a pretty good chance that kill might have just ended the game. Gonna go ahead and wait to see what VTI does here. Kind of grouping up like they want to try to push. Bottom Rax was taken quite a bit ago, so they really have to worry about when that lane's going to be pushing in, especially if you're Root. And I think the VTI is just going to play it safe, wait for that bottom lane to slow push in, and then try to engage off that.
Well, on a brighter note, the Invoker does have Wex now, so he can cast Tornado.
That was the weirdest shackle. Did you just see that?
Yeah, I saw
Bogus was standing right behind that melee creep and it hit the range creep instead. I was like, okay, that is definitely going to land. We're going to see the last engagement of the game, most likely. BKB pop by the Enigma, shackle the tree on the Queen of Pain right there. Black hole doesn't actually hit anything. Complete airball, but I really don't think it matters at this point. As actually Blitz is back up doing quite a bit of damage to the CM after that ball lightning in. And Bogus is going to drop two for nothing right now. The tower does end up falling, but now Enigma's trying to run outside of the base. I think he should be able to get away. And wow, Queen of Pain is going to lose the Aegis. Long distance pull right there from the Storm Spirit. Going to be up here in just a second. The Rax hasn't taken too much damage, but here comes Brood to try to seal the deal. There's the Orchid pop, and he's doing so much right-click damage, but backs up, just going to go for the Rax instead. Not going to overcommit, wants to make the choice to go ahead and end the game rather than going for hero kills. Definitely respect that decision, but the Rax is sitting at 18 HP. There we go. Runs back in for one extra right-click. And now the top Rax, the last two standing for Root Gaming, is exposed. And we are going to see Blitz actually ball lightning really far there trying to get the Enigma. Maybe underestimated his mana pool there a little bit, or overestimated, I should say. Brood going to make his way back to some Ancients to, I guess, farm some more. But that's 2 racks down now in favor of VTI. 27 minutes in, 15 to 23. And I am just actually shocked that we haven't seen GG's come out yet.
Yeah, I mean, play until the throne's dead, man. What can you do?
This is American Dota. Never give up, never say die. Root Gaming.
Root Gaming.
They're going to make it last until the very end, and this time it might be a little bit of a bitter end, unfortunately. Blitz almost has his Orchid up. The Windrunner at this stage. Mechanism, Mana Boots. Crystal Maiden looking at a Bracer. Power Treads on top of that Urn. Broodmother's farm was pretty ridiculous last time I checked. Yeah, BKB up with the Orchid and a Manta. Most likely going to be making that, or Yasha going to be making that into a Manta.
It's just something to note how volatile the American scene actually is. No, Podem Bottom, they destroyed Quantic. Root beat Podem Bottom. Now Root is losing to VTI. It's so back and forth and competitive in the American scene right now. It's never been like this. It's actually really exciting to see who comes out on top in these games.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see it's like this too. Anytime the competitive scene is this volatile, as you put it, it's just great because you know that people are going to continue to try. There's going to be more money involved in Dota 2, especially after the quote-unquote release, as a lot of people are anticipating it being after the next international. So I think the scene's only going to get bigger, man. We're only going to see more talent coming out.
I'm actually excited to see what kind of fresh talent comes after the game is released. It should be really competitive.
Yeah, I mean, there's already huge prize pool tournaments, and you're talking upwards of $20,000 to $30,000 for some of these. And that's not even including the International, which has one of the biggest prize pools, if not the biggest, for a single tournament in any game. So that's definitely something to draw a crowd at the very least and pique interest in the game. But we are going to have another pause here out by VTI. Hopefully nobody's lagging. Yep, okay, so he is lagging. Fair play, says the Enigma from VTI here. But yeah, I agree, man. I really like the way that the game's kind of developing. I think Valve's done a great job, too, of making all the heroes in their likeness. And we're actually going to see Bogus get picked off here. Gets Orchided in place. And here comes Enigma with the BKB pop. Throws at the Midnight Pulse. No Black Hole just yet. Looks like they might just be going for the Rax. And Storm Spirit ends up getting a kill here. Now Storm Spirit actually gets locked down in place. There's a Dusty's actually to spot out the Brood. Disruption is going to go off there. And Storm Spirit ends up getting a double kill, picking off the Enigma in the back. And he's saying, please don't kill me, please. I just want to get back to my base, but unfortunately not going to work. As 50 seconds left on his res timer. And I got to imagine after these racks drop, we might finally see a GG, Mikey.
Yeah. I mean, if they play past Mega Creeps, then I don't know what to say, man. Maybe we'll just leave and go to the next game.
You know what happens when Mega Creeps spawn? It reminds me of like Enfos. You ever play that mod for Warcraft 3? Where you just have to indefinitely defend against those creeps? That's what it feels like. Well,
then like when the other heroes actually come, it's the offensives, man. You just have to deal with the offensives.
Oh man, the offenses are so overpowered in that game. Wasn't there one that like stunned you for like a year?
Yeah, Stormbolt. Oh my god,
just, it was like what, 10 seconds of stun, and you just couldn't do anything and guaranteed died. Oh, it was so frustrating. That game ruined friendships for me. I'll be honest.
I loved that game though. So addicting.
It was very, very addicting. Almost as addicting as Dota.
Yeah, man. If it wasn't for Dota, I would be an Enfos professional right now.
Well, Root giving us their best Enfos impression right here inside of their base, trying to keep out 2 sets of big creeps. I'm not going to call them Megas because they're really not, but they're 2 racks down at the moment. Their middle and bottom have been dead for quite a while now. VTI still patiently sitting outside of the base, waiting for the right time to push. Root Gaming poised to defend right here. They do have a Sentry Ward down for the Brood. No blink on the Enigma. He actually opted for a Vlad, so okay, here comes the pipe. This could be, hopefully, the last push of the game. I think we might have overstayed our welcome in this game just a little bit. And yeah, it looks like they might just go ahead and tunnel vision the racks. There's a nice turn to EMP combo, though. Black Hole only hits EGM, but he actually gets disrupted in the middle of it. Nice play by DDX, force staff back by Korea. Now Queen of Pain pops the BKB, and I think they're just going for the racks right here. EGM is tunnel visioning on this Enigma, but not going to kill him nearly fast enough. Blitz comes out of the well with his lightning bolt, manages to pick up a double kill right there, but the last melee racks does fall in the meantime. Windrunner also going to pay with her life, and now he's saying, please, again, just don't kill me. Don't kill my base. I want to stay in this game. But that is gonna be mega creeps. So there are the GGs coming out from Root Gaming. VTI, your victor for today in the first game of the ECAL North and South American $3,000 prize pool tournament. This was a Group 2 game, so now VTI, I believe, is actually 1-1 at this point, as is Root Gaming. So things evening up here a little bit in Group 2. So we can see a couple more people dying here, but yeah, the game is very much over. So you have any other thoughts, Mikey, about this game?
Not generally about the game. It was really well played by VTI. I enjoy watching this team because they're just so aggressive with their pushing and their offensive pressure. But this group is really shaping up to be something else. Every team, I think, is 1-1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like you said earlier, it's North American Dota. Well, I shouldn't even say North American, just American Dota. Because we are representing more than just one community here. But VTI takes the game. Very impressive performance once again, guys. My name is Draskyl. Join me for the cast, Mikey from Quantic. Thanks again for being here, man. We're going to go ahead and get out of here for a second and try to get into the